The unsettling phenomenon of human faces showing up in baby ultrasounds is not pareidolia, and you can't convince me otherwise. Because it's one thing to put together a face out of random spots and dots and lines, but when the face has discernible features like lips, nose, eyelids, chin, the whole nine yards, and it looks like someone out of a Renaissance painting, you cannot tell me that this is pareidolia. Or this. Now, obviously, the number one reason for this is pareidolia, but I refuse to accept that. So the big question here is, why are there human faces showing up in the womb with a baby? Now, some people have seen these faces and compared them to lost loved ones, while other people believe that they could be some sort of guardian angel, like a sense of protection over the unborn child. Now, although this is uncommon, it happens more than you think, so it really makes you question what is going on here. And why are these very detailed human faces showing up in ultrasounds with these children? Is it pareidolia, guardian angels, or what's your thoughts?
Imagine looking at it and being like, "Is that your Uncle Tim? I think I think that's your Uncle Tim." That stupid honey, Uncle Tim passed away 3 years ago. Yeah, that's Uncle Tim. Are we giving birth to the Antichrist? Is Uncle Tim the Antichrist? Uncle Tim's the Antichrist.
God's evil Batman. When do the arrests start to be made? I'm super confused because you now said the review's over.
This review is over. I mean, we reviewed over 6 million pieces of paper, thousands of videos, tens of thousands of images.
Images and videos. See, that's what this is all about. Most of these files right now are all emails, but you guys are redacting and hiding the real Epstein files. And you already slipped up once and said in those videos and images, death and torture were depicted.
Finally, anything that depicts or contain images of death, physical abuse, or injury, also not produced.
You've seen death and torture. Who's involved in the death and torture? Most likely they should be in prison. And then when I see emails like, I give you permission to kill him, or things like Mary Kennedy found dead in her backyard.
And mind you that their names are being redacted.
Whoops. Or in the Cryptos kid said CIA and Mossad are running a pedo elite sex trafficking ring out of Puerto Rico. Then somehow he drowned within 24 hours. About when Gabriella screamed to the world, they are eating humans. I don't know how I got invited to this. I don't know how I got involved in this sex trafficking ring, but I wasn't aware of everything. I knew they was murdering people, which is crazy to say out loud, but they're eating humans. What the fuck is going on? And what happened to Gabriella? Never to be seen again. And if you look her up, there's no main news articles, which is weird that someone would shout out they're eating humans and then disappear off the face of the earth forever. About your boy Al that admitted to hacking the entire wiki site and basically saying we're going to erase your child pedophile past to the best of our ability. Because that's what doesn't make any sense. Anyone that was talking to Jeffrey Epstein after the year of 2008, when it was shown to the world he was sleeping and fucking around with 14-year-old kids and raping them, should immediately lose all positions of power and step down because your moral compass is fucked. See, that's what Elon Musk doesn't understand. But wait a second, back to Al. He's dead too, at the bottom of a mountain in France. Why I should for vibes, because Red Bull was nowhere in sight. Son wasn't hiking, I'll tell you that. What about Earl Anthony Wayne here, who raped an 11-year-old down in Mexico and then got caught, but instead gave his time to this U.S. Marine? I didn't even know that type of sick-ass pedophile shit was allowed. And there it is. It's just like, holy shit. We are just a cabal child pedophile cult. Bitch ass Musk, because he thinks he could just tweet his way through this like everything's gonna be okay because I never stepped foot on the island. Bitch, you was begging to hang out with this man on Christmas fucking day.
Right.
A known child sex pedophile. Does that not click in your head? This man was already convicted of fucking with children. You were begging to go to his island. You fucking lame-ass loser. Daily Mail. This is a KGB honey trap. Oh, you're gonna go with the Russia hoax? Oh, this was a Zionist blackmailer who felt his people were above all. And he was converting people like Steve Bannon. I'm gonna drop the Christian and Zionist. Cuck. They thought their soul had different structure, different ingredients, components, relates to higher levels differently. Okay, if that means eating kids and fucking children and killing people, good for y'all. I'm a civilian. Democrats, cops, do.
Yeah, I remember when that guy came out and was saying the alphabet letter guys were having file rings. And yeah, he couldn't swim after he was a good swimmer. They found him not swimming anymore. And then that lady who was like, I was okay with the murders and the stuff, like, that's okay, I understand that, but they were eating people. She was like, I can't do it. That's too much. It's too much. She was freaking out. She was having a panic attack, screaming it. And I don't blame her. I mean, why aren't we having panic attacks outside of places, government buildings, freaking out about this? I mean, they made the Overton windows so open that we're okay with it. Are we just, we're complicit now? We don't mind. I'm not saying violence allegedly. I'm not saying any of this stuff needs to get like that. But how are we not demanding jobs gone? People at least taken away from their comfort zones. What are we doing? What happened to us as a civilization? Did we fall apart, my people? Are we this far gone? Or is that it? Did we lose?
Everybody's talking about the Wayfair conspiracy coming true, but does anybody remember the weird postings that were popping up at Etsy during this time? Luckily, I took screenshots of these and saved them to my private cloud because they're scrubbed from the internet now, but this was back in the early 2020s. Look at this. Rare find already in 20 plus carts for $50,000, young pizza assorted. And we know what that means. And the image alone is so disturbing. But this is where it gets really dark. This is the description and item details. Awesome girl pizzas ready to ship. Arrives container pickup from depot. Ordinary looking packaging. All shipments are not identical. You will receive your young pizza assorted in a container around 20 by 8. Southern Imports is always ready to ship, recently packaged and very quick shipping to ensure quality. Message with your referral and favorite colors before purchase. Can schedule a down payment and meeting with insurance. There's no doubt that this is demonic and evil and dark, and the craziest thing is that it was happening right under our noses. The question now is, how do we make sure that this never happens again? As always, I want to hear what you think about all of this down below.
I used to think it was the FBI that dealt with this stuff. I might as well just say all the names and deal with it straight up, because they're gonna ban this video. They've been banning the past few of them anyway. But didn't the FBI used to deal with human trafficking? Wasn't that something that they did? Like, with stuff is this obvious and this blatant, I mean, what? It makes me wish I had enough money just so I could start ordering them and then saving them. I mean, is that really what we got to start doing as people? Do we need to start chipping in money just to be buying kids off these sites just so we could save them? I mean, how bad is it that nobody cares? Nobody's going to help us? No one's going to save them?
I don't like it though.
So the United States distanced themselves and pulled themselves out of the World Health Organization. And in that time, all of a sudden, scientists from countries all over the world are announcing that they've found cures for cancer, Alzheimer's, HPV. Japanese scientists have used regenerative medicine to restore motor function in paralyzed patients. In China, scientists reversed Alzheimer's in mice, and I saw follow-up news saying that for the first time in 100 years, Alzheimer's may now be reversible because of this progress in science. In Vietnam, doctors use stem cells to cure leukemia. Brazilian researchers discover an earwax test that may be able to detect cancer before tumors form in your body. A team of Korean scientists reversed colon cancer. Mexican scientists successfully eliminated HPV. Doctors in Cuba developed a lung cancer vaccine. And Russia announced that its new cancer vaccine showed 100% success in clinical trials and is now ready for clinical use. And honestly, more power to these scientists. But isn't that something? Isn't it weird? It's almost like the country that loves running people into medical debt because they see healthcare as a business and not a human right, didn't want some of the most expensive diseases on the market to be treatable. Interesting how that worked out.
Google search will just show you that most of that stuff was already figured out a year before, 2 years ago, things like that. You don't have to just believe everything if it's online. I mean, even if I say it, it's not true. Like, it's massive. Why too at the same time? It's a triple threat head, like super huge. Yeah, Believe me, don't ask any of my ex-girlfriends. So they're mad at me, and that's why they talk about me that way. They're just pissed at me. I'm freaking awesome.
In case you forgot.
We can't get driven down crazy conspiracy rabbit holes.
Yes. I mean, look, the crazy story about me running a child trafficking operation out of a basement of a pizzeria, it was a huge story.
So not only did the mainstream media lie to you about Pizzagate, they actually told you that it was illegal to read John Podesta's emails on WikiLeaks.
I wonder
Chris
why.
Cuomo, with a straight face on CNN, looked into the cameras and said, it's illegal for you to read John Podesta's emails. That's how scared they are of those emails. And that's how explosive the content in those emails are. No one to this day, including John Podesta himself, can explain the code words in his emails.
One of the things, if I were the president, I'd do is demand the Anthony Weiner laptop and get it to the most trusted person in the military to take apart everything on it and then start using it. There's a lot that can be prosecuted, I have no doubt, on that laptop. In fact, I heard that the New York police officers who saw some of it, even though they're hardened investigators, literally had to go throw up.
By the way, don't get caught going down a rabbit hole. It wasn't her fault that everybody found it, the emails talking about it, and everyone found the layout, allegedly. They found the layout, exactly what it looks like. They matched the windows from the trajectory, and they found everything on her, and guess what happened? Nobody even got pitchforks and torches outside of her house. Disappointed in us, man. Me too. I'm disappointed in all of us. Quick side note, I get why everybody left them alone. If you look into it, if you want to, a lot of people commit sus that happen to work with them, around them, or accusing them. A lot of them. It's pretty strange how many do that around them. They must have a superpower for it.
Look at the sign behind. Everyone must check in. It states right in the FEMA drill manual, everyone must check in. Here it is. This photograph was sent around the world. It turns out there was a second photograph taken by Shannon Hicks from further back. The children are being rearranged. They were rearranging the children to get the best shot. But this was a staged photograph that it was actually taken as early as in October. And here's yet one more close-up of in the background there. Notice more parents in the background. Dash cam footage shows they weren't there. And of course, they weren't there. The school had been closed since 2008. There weren't any students to evacuate. Person after person on the scene was wearing a name tag on a lanyard. Look at that. I mean, we have a whole system here of color-coded name tags. And why? What do we see going on here? We see evidence, indications that what's actually taking place is a drill. We've actually been able to discover the FEMA manual for this drill, as the next slide shows. Exercise play is scheduled until the exercise director controller determines that the exercise objectives has been met. Everyone must sign in with controllers upon arrival, which explains the sign. And because the drill is taking place on the 13th, there was confusion in the minds of some of those who were participating. They recorded Adam Lanza's death on the wrong day.
Something's happening.
Okay. Jen, hang up. I need you to get off that phone.
That was the first one that got me started, Sandy Hook. And I remember everybody on it harping about it, and a lot of people just couldn't believe it, me including. I was like, no freaking way. And then I found out what crisis actors were, and then I heard the stuff like that where you hear them in the background giving up the situation. Like, they're not good at it because they're not perfect. They're people. They mess up. We're idiots. There is somebody back there pulling the strings, being a great mastermind, but then it has to be done by a bunch of idiots. So we mess it up. And then there's smart people out there that realize they figure it out, point it out, and then a bunch of idiots like us who just be like, didn't happen. Didn't happen.
Do you guys remember that time this demon showed pictures of her daughter's birthday party? And I'm sorry. What? No, but like literally, why? What? Literally. What? What? It's probably nothing.
Nothing
Again,
at all.
living in the world of inversion. Everybody who seems to be so successful and so, oh my gosh, is really a demon. Okay, so can't wait for this to play out to say, I told you. So, and like in the reports, he's saying it's worse than Diddy. It's probably.
I'm shocked that anybody ever, like, they had to push her on us. You know that, right? She had to be a handler or something. Because for her to just be a kind of girl, that's how she got famous. And then now her latest thing is hairy thongs. It shows off, oh my God. And people still listen to her? Like, why? I only put that out here to put her on blast. Anytime I see her face anything, I look away. My energy does not go towards her. I hope you do the same thing.
Won the lottery too, and you expect me to just move on? No, there's no moving on. Look at his track record. Bitcoin, yeah, he knew the founders and the developers. The one that is completely secret from everything, yeah, J.E. knew about all that. Represented the Rothschilds, along with the CIA, along with the Mossad, and along with doing middleman deals for all of the Middle East, included in Russia. He's a Russian asset. No, Israeli Mossad agent, because who's on the other side of this vocal recording? Funny you leave that out, DOJ. Because it was the former prime minister of you-know-who. Peter Thiel, Palantir, Epstein. I'm telling you, anything that he gave the green light, you got $1 billion incoming. New things on their way to collapse was much easier than finding the next bargain. Both thrived in negativity. The first investors in Coinbase, also that was in 2018. How are you searching for money from a child pedophile? The Zorro Trust is very important because the Zorro Ranch is something that is not being talked about when in reality, it may have been worse than the island. Supposedly an anonymous person won that lottery and claimed it through the Zorro Trust. What's the Zorro Trust? Epstein's shell company. This is the Zorro Ranch, place that the girl that felt like a baby incubator was kept in a carbon peroxide hidden from the world, where she was saying she kept on having babies and sometimes they would be killed, sometimes they would disappear, but basically she had no contact and she was going through a tragic life and saying, I feel like your property and not an actual person. What I'm not talking about is that Zorro Ranch had a bunch of tunnels underneath it that he then filled with concrete when shit hit the fan because, yeah, March Ferrer, you guys said death. Bodies could be down there. While our president says, let's just move on. The rest of the world, anyone that has a tie to Epstein is stepping down because that's normal. You're not supposed to have people in positions of power that are trying to hang out with child pedophiles. Like this dumb dweeb bitch here should never get another government contract ever because he was begging to go to an island of a convicted child pedophile. Look at the websites I have to go to find out that people are stepping down. Because in America, we want it to be normal that child pedophiles are in positions of power. It's not fucking normal. All these niggas deserve to die. Bonnie, I'm also looking at you because why are you redacting names like this when he's saying things like the key are 14 and 15-year-olds, I am a sexual pervert. That's not supposed to be redacted. The man's a predator. Put him behind bars. Why is this redacted? Do you want me to just do her or do you want me to torture her? The fuck are we talking about? That's not supposed to be a redacted name. Cop's supposed to be on the way. I'm saying we will do public deposition because, like I told you before, Freak Boy Bill does not be raping. He be doing a lot of fucking. Instead of arresting the Democrats, which is how I know that you clearly are guilty, you don't want to talk about trade talks with China. Not priority number one. Priority number one is a child sex trafficking cult, Pizzagate possibly being real, and some guy that could or could not be dead, somehow putting every single person that's currently billionaires in their positions of power. Who busts this nigga lip? Because that's not what happens when you commit suicide and supposedly just hang yourself.
That's how it was.
I wonder if I ever commit a crime, will they give me $85 million from the lottery? What kind of crime do I have to commit that they would pay me off $85 million to take a plea bargain? Where I would only go, 12 hours at night, and I'd still be allowed to run amok, do whatever I want. It's not like they're gonna test me or do anything like that. I mean, I probably snuck a girl back to the hotel with me. Prison with me. Not gonna lie, some of that was a real reach. But yeah, all of that came from something, though. I mean, that D&D stuff, it was real things. What was it, 50s and 60s? They just talked about it from the 80s. It was made up about it from the 90s, and then it came out in the 2020s. Yeah, when was history going to repeat itself again?
He died before he died. Are y'all ready to see how much of a show this really is? Ready or not, here we go. Why in the world do we have a draft from the DOJ talking about finding him in his cell unalived the day before he actually, passed away? Read it. This morning on the 9th, they found Jeff Manhattan Corrections unresponsive in his cell. So why in the world is there a draft the day before he passed away saying that they already found him passed away? Eastern Standard Time, right? It was the 10th at 6:30 a.m. they found him. And even the tape they released had those same timestamps from August 10th, even the part they took out of the video. But wait, there's more. They said there is no list. Correct me if I'm wrong. This looks like a list. And even crazier, there's a few people that are talking about they're learning how to unredact these files. Speaking of redactions, isn't it funny how last time they released files, they released this picture with these redactions of these picture frames? Well, they released it again and forgot the redactions. I already blanked out this one right here. I think you probably know why. And what in the world is this supposed to be? By the way, we have the State Department removing all posts from its public accounts before the president returned to office. But I have a feeling that won't be all. And now we have, supposedly, allegedly, the survivors are saying that in 5 days they'll name names if nothing else gets dropped. Although, for real this time, because we've heard that before. Yeah, Bill Clinton and his girlfriend. Whatever it is. Yeah, it's a very real situation, but they are releasing it themselves. Why? They need you to believe them very, very soon.
Thing happened with Charlie Kirk, how it came out before he was, and for some reason it's almost like they're doing stuff with timelines and messing with time. I think it was a top 5-star, 4-star general who was talking about we have the weapons to do that now in a speech recently. It's where it's like they talk about it, do it, and are actually being it. We might be in trouble.
This is an exchange between Jeffrey Epstein and, we think, a urologist, and I'm quoting, and they're going back and forth on stuff, and he says, I'm back, can call you in Stendra 100 at Zitmer. Now, Stendra is apparently an erectile dysfunction drug, and he's prescribing it to Jeffrey Epstein, who apparently needs it. And Epstein writes, how many? And the doctor writes back, 10. After you use them, let's go get pizza and grape soda. Call me. So to all the people who dismissed out of hand this conspiracy theory about Pizzagate, oh, it had nothing to do with sex or kids or anything illicit at all. It wasn't a code word. Here you have apparently Jeffrey Epstein's urologist telling him that after you take your erectile dysfunction drug, wash your hands and join me for pizza and grape soda. Okay, now.
Bro, is there an email with his doctor after prescribing him some ED medication telling him to take it and then let's go get some pizza and grape soda? What? Can we dig him up and kill him again? Allegedly. All allegedly. I don't promote violence. But can we do something? Wait. I could say it without saying it though, right? I'm thinking it to you right now. And all of them. They just... all of them. Yeah, can we do that? Please, somebody help me, please.
We are watching Ghislaine Maxwell in her jail cell right now. And no, this isn't secretly recorded. She is being watched 24/7 by the US Department of Justice. Why are they watching her 24/7 inside of her jail cell? I think we all know why. The US Department of Justice is not only sharing this footage to let us know that she is very much alive and well, but also to remind all of us that she is about to testify in front of the House Oversight Committee. They are not only expecting her to talk, they are expecting her to finally tell the truth. Because now that thousands of photos, documents, and emails have been released, we know she's been lying. Take this photo behind me of the young Virginia Giuffre, who Ghislaine and Prince Andrew are both in, and they both claimed that this photo was a fake. In Maxwell's emails herself written to Jeffrey, she herself admitted that this picture not only was real, but that it was taken inside of her home before Virginia was assaulted. In fact, everything is proving what Virginia Giuffre has been saying to be the truth this entire time. Now they're hoping, thanks to the release of Jeffrey's will and testament, seeing how much he left his 30-year-old girlfriend and how little he left his at the time 58-year-old ex-girlfriend Ghislaine, she will see how little Jeffrey even truly cared for her, as she is serving decades behind bars for helping him. If you missed my video about this, in Jeffrey's will 2 days before he stops living, he left hundreds of millions of dollars to his at the time 30-year-old girlfriend, talking penthouses, apartments, his entire island. Yes, that island, along with a 33-carat ring and over 40 loose diamonds. What did he leave the woman who lost it all for him? He left her the same amount of money he left one of his pilots. Yes, one of his employees. All she would have gotten had his fortune not been taken to pay his victims was $10 million. A friend of his who he had only been friends with for a few years got $5 million. Now that not only her life has been taken from her, but she's also been humiliated in front of the world, we're about to see if that means she's going to stop lying and covering up for all of the monsters she has spent her entire life covering.
About the will and testament, just to make that real simple and easy, you don't leave all your money to somebody who's in jail and who can't benefit from it or move it or do anything with it. That's just simple. That just seems stupid. She's already been convicted. They'll seize it and take it from her. Anyway, with that out of the way, I'm going to tell you what she said because she already said it. I plead the fifth. And then they said, we need to know more. No. And so what's going to end up happening is they're going to say, if you want to know something about it, you got to give me full immunity and let me out. And I have a feeling nobody's going to want that because then they're really going to be pissed. So I don't know what's going to happen. Probably. Oh, yeah, nothing. Nothing's going to happen. Unless we take care of it, nothing's going to happen. Allegedly. Whatever. Allegedly.
The Epstein files just keep getting stranger. In these emails, he discusses giving people supernatural abilities through psychological stress, cloning people, and even designer babies, whatever that's supposed to mean. Let's start at the bottom here. This person named Gino Yu emails Epstein. He says, I'm in Paris and was about to write you and it popped up. She's a classic stage 3 in the model. Outlier who is intelligent, was traumatized when she was young, SA, and now gradually coming into her own and becoming self-realized. Starting to develop special abilities. This trip, we found a lot more stories like this, though she is more on the extreme side given her biographical history. Epstein responds asking what prompted his email. Then this guy goes on to say the caravan trip has been really wonderful in meeting people that are stage 3. These are people who are developing a different perspective of reality and discovering the gifts they have. He goes on to say, I understand that you were not happy with the results of the Cuba conference that you funded, but I feel like the work is very important toward helping people identify and recognize the gifts that they have, which may not be accepted or well understood by society today. He concludes saying new models are also possible, such as the alternative paradigms group are finding their way, new forms of knowing without knowing how one knows. And in this one, somebody named Brian Bishop emailed Epstein saying, attached is the document you requested. It's the use of fund spreadsheet for the designer baby and human cloning company. This gets us out of the self-funded garage biology phase and the first live birth of a human designer baby and possibility of a human clone within 5 years. I pulled these emails directly from the DOJ's website. They are 100% legitimate. This kind of reminds me of government projects like MK Ultra, for example, but they're not the exact same. However, the framework is kind of similar. Trauma, altered states of consciousness, reframing somebody's identity, and pushing the limits of what we think is.
Remember when the Deadpool movie came out and they had to abuse him to make his powers come out? Remember when X-Men were telling you that you did it through like puberty because it had to be a high stress, emotional release situation? Remember when they got everyone's DNA and they tried to figure out where you came from because they wanted to know bloodlines? Remember when they started to run AI on everything and they wanted to figure all that out so they could pick out who's who, and that's why they got all that information from everyone? Remember when Ghislaine didn't do nothing but just sit there in jail because she's in jail now because she didn't do nothing. She didn't help all that out. And she's not from a Messiah family. And it's not like her dad put her up on game. And it's not like that's why Epstein's in on that. Remember when everybody told you all this stuff and you were like, nah, it's crazy. It's crazy. You remember when? I remember when.
So Hillary Clinton tweeted, if we are going down, everyone is coming with us. And then Bill Clinton tweets, I have called for the full release of the Epstein files. I have provided a sworn statement of what I know. And just this week, I agreed to appear in person before the committee. And then Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton also said, we want our hearing to be public. The truth belongs to the American people. They deserve to know all the truth. But then Bill Clinton keeps replying to himself, and this one got 164,000 likes. I will not sit idly as they use me as a prop in a closed-door kangaroo court by a Republican Party running scared. If they want answers, let's stop the games and let's do this the right way in a public hearing where the American people could see for themselves what this is really about. And obviously Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton definitely has done some crazy stuff, so if they're going all in, they're bringing everyone with them. What do y'all think?
Imagine things are so damn sick, so disgusting. We're looking to the president who left semen on his assistant's dress, and that's how he got caught. The one who smoked a cigar after he poked her with it. The one who got, what was it, 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't know how many assistants to give him head, and some of them were in the Oval Office. Like, that's the guy who's going to give us top information on everybody else who's a pedophile and pervert? Yeah. I believe. Okay. Yeah, sure.
We've all seen how the cast of Weekend has changed radically, but no one explains why. The industry doesn't promote celebrities, it destroys them to exploit them. It's important to understand that Ariana doesn't exist. She's been erased and replaced. She herself talks about memory loss and going to the clinic. It's not marketing, it's the effects of the CIA program. And the declassified documents explain the techniques: drugs, hypnosis, sleep deprivation, electroshock, rape. Ariana tells us about extreme anxiety, sexual abuse at Nickelodeon, and she also admitted to losing years of her memory. If Cynthia reacts strangely, it's because she's been given a specific role: the master, watching over the slave. So the incomprehensible gestures are in fact codes to keep Ariana under control. For the industry, she's a functional puppet, and the butterfly is the visual code for her new personality. If the victim panics, the safe haven is behind the rainbow. It's not poetry, it's the wonderland that the victim creates to reassure themselves. Wicked is based on The Wizard of Dare, and the film features electroshock therapy. Because Judy went through the same child star program of The Wizard of Dare, exploited, medicated, raped, and then Britney Spears, same anxiety, same loss of control and crying in interviews. Not unstable artists, they're victims of mind control. So learn to read the symbols.
Sometimes, even though I want to talk about him, I gotta remember and realize, that's a young girl that got abused. These are young kids that grew up and got abused. It's an anniversary for me, for somebody that I lost, my son. Anyway, I always wanted to start a foundation, something, helping hands, a charity to get it going and make this happen. And I'm struggling to try to figure this dream out, but all of this started just so I could bring a little bit of light to it. And so I just keep going. If it don't work, who cares? I'll just keep screaming it anyway. But I hope people keep going and don't stop. We got to figure this out. Somebody's got to do something eventually, right? All right, with that said, it's time to come to a close. If you want to, watch another one. If you don't, you already know what's up. hit a thumbs up, leave a comment. Let's talk about some stuff. As much as, like man, we make fun of these people, we talk about them, and we do blah, 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 but that's somebody's daughter, that's somebody's sister, that's somebody's family, just as all of them are. Let's try not to hate them too much just because, we want what they got, or they got too much and we're trying to mock them for it. I know they may be stupid coming out with their dumb outfits and just prancing around, but we are all stupid, believe me. All of us. All of us equally. Spread some love, spread some joy. Try to help somebody. Do what you can. I got you.